Okay, this video is to help you with the very first quarter 2 concepts you need to know. So this first one, if we tell you to evaluate and we give you the value of X to plug it in, what you're doing is plugging that in, timesing by 5, and then subtracting that answer from 3. That's what you're doing, plugging that -2 in for X, timesing it by 5, and then subtracting 3. The math that you need to show is that right here, you're plugging in -2. So we show F of -2 in parentheses to show the number I'm plugging in for X. Right here, I leave that 5 alone, but where that X used to be, that's where I put that -2. That means evaluate. I'm plugging it in. I'm going to take that, times it, and subtract 3. So the value when I plug in X is -2. I show that by writing F of -2. That gives me -10. And then that -10, take away that 3, tells me that the value when X is -2, the Y value is -13. That's what they're looking for. Can you plug in -2 for X and get the Y number spit out when you plug that in? That's what that is. If we give you an equation to graph, the first thing we want you to do is find the y-intercept. That's this number right here. If you plot that number first as a xy coordinate, know that the first coordinate's always 0, but whatever that number is right there, that is the y-intercept. That's going to be 0, 6. That's where that first number goes, or wherever that 6 is, that's where your number goes on the y-axis. That's your first dot that matches this 6. That's the first dot. To get your second dots, now you look at this number in front of X, which is your slope, and you change that into a fraction. So if it's not a fraction, any whole number, you could put it over 1, and that bottom number tells you from that starting dot how many boxes you're going to the right, always the way I do it, left or right for your run. And then from there, either up or down for your rise. So for this, since it's -3, that means I'm going down 3. So 1 dot to the right, down 3. That's where my next coordinate goes. 1 box to the right, down 3. 1 box to the right, down 3. Be able to stair step the opposite way. Left 1, up 3. Always be able to stair step the opposite way. Take your ruler, take your straight edge, draw a nice neat line through those dots best you can. Nice, neat, and straight. Never leave those dots without a line drawn through them. I need you to put little arrows on each side of the arrow to show that it's going forever. I need you to know these parts right here. This is called the y-intercept. This is where your graph is intercepting the y-axis. Know that for the y-intercept, X is always 0. But whatever that number is on the y-axis, that's your y number. That's your y-intercept, 0, 6. Know that this number right here, this is called the x-intercept. That's where your line intercepts the x-axis, this x-axis right here. Knowing that for the x-intercept, it's always the y value that gets the x. That's kind of trippy. For the x-intercept, it's always the y value that gets the 0. So for this, that value is 2, 0. That is the x-intercept. Y-intercept, where x is 0, 6. X-intercept, where y is 0, x is 2. So again, at y-intercept, x is 0. X-intercept, y is 0. That's where your line touches. This line has a slope of over 1, down 3, right 1, down 3. That's what this line is doing. All right, let's do another. All right, the second one. Again, plugging this -5 in for X, showing it like this. F when I plug in -5 for x, gives me 3 times -5 minus that 4 gives me f of -5 equals -15 minus 4 gives me f of -5 equals -19. That's what that is. When I plug in -5 for x, I get spit out -19 for y. All right, graphing. Find 8 on the y-axis. That's your first dot right here. Your next dots, look at this number in front of x, that -2 made into a fraction is -2 over 1. That tells me every time I go right 1, down 2, 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 left 1, up 2. Be able to stair step opposite. Draw a straight line through those dots. Put arrows on each side of that line. Know that again, this is the y-intercept, 0, 8. Know that the x-intercept is 4, 0. Know that the y-intercept, x is always 0. The x-intercept, y is always 0. All right, moving on. This guy, plugging in -7. F of -7 equals 8 times -7 minus that 2 right there. So when I plug in -7 for x, the y value comes from -56 minus 2. When I plug in -7, I get -58 for y. Let's write that a little neater. All right, graphing. Here I go. Start at 10 on the y-axis. This tells me to go over 1, down 5, right 1, down 5, right 1, down 5. Draw a line through that. Nice and neat, straight line, best you can. Put arrows on either side. Label the y-intercept, 0, 10. Label the x-intercept. This is 2, 0. All right, one more. All right, here we go. F of -5 equals 7 times -5 plus 4. This gives me f of -5 equals -35 plus 4 gives me f of -5 equals -31. Graphing 0, 2. That's my y-intercept. This one has a slope of -2 over 1. That means right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, up 2. Draw a line through them. Put arrows on either side of your line. Label your y-intercept 0, 2. Label your x-intercept 1, 0. Remember, this is the x-intercept. This one up here is the y-intercept. All right, hopefully this helps.